welcome to another edition of the Nightly News. I'm Chris Lee here with LPNN, bringing you all the news that is news and none of the news that isn't, most of the time. All right, we got quite a bit of stuff going on for you guys here today. Let's see what we have here. In our local news, there was a microburst coming up, what was that? I think it was Saturday night, right after we got back from Phoenix, after covering an event. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But the microburst, man, that was some crazy stuff. We got all kinds of rain. There were some high winds out there. Let's see, I believe, let's see, it's in here. There we go. We actually had some viewer submissions of some of the damage that was out there. As you can see here, we have down at Lower Antelope Canyon, a bunch of the porta potties blew over. Oof, bet that was fun to clean up. Apparently, they ended up opening up a little later in the day. And then as you can see in the picture straight up here and the one here behind me, there were some trees that were knocked down, and they actually fell down on a power line that went to street lights in the Lake Powell Mobile Home Village. And that caused some problems as well. If you guys have any other pictures of the damage that's out there, don't forget to send it to us at lakepowellnews@gmail.com, or you can message us on Facebook like our viewers here did. Don't forget, you're our eyes and our ears out there. That's how we got this information here while we were out driving around. Also, there was a large road sign down by Horseshoe Bend that was blown out into Highway 89, and that took quite some time to get out of the way as well. Very dangerous situation. We were out there reporting on it live for you. If you want to check those videos out, just make sure you like the page and check down in our news feed below, and we were live for all of that. All right, let's see what else we have here for you. All right, we have, yes, Wags and Wine. Yes, we're going to keep talking about Wags and Wine. Why? Because there's little tiny fuzzy puppies right there. Look at those guys. And there's kittens and cats and all kinds of fun little critters down there. We actually did, Teresa did an article on that, and you can find that at lakepowellnews.com. There's actually quite an extensive article talking about all the different things that they're doing for our little four-legged friends down there. Let's see here. This is the Wags and Wine event. It's coming up April 28th, 2018. It's from 6 to 10 at the Blue Buddha Bar, but there's only 100 tickets available. There's going to be a silent auction, and it's like a social gathering down there. So make sure you sign up for that and get those tickets while they're still available. If you go to lakepowellnews.com, you can check out the article, and we have all of the links that you need to be able to get a hold of that and get one of your tickets. All right, let's see what else we have here for you today. All right, let's go ahead and, oh yes, the Unity Powwow was on Friday and Saturday. Apparently that went off without a hitch and was quite the hit. That happened while we were unfortunately down in Phoenix covering a live event at the state capitol. We were down there for the Don't Punish Pain rally. And we talked to some of the people. We had an interview. We did have a few technical difficulties while we were down there, but we managed to fix them. But if you want to watch that Don't Punish Pain rally, they were talking about the government over-regulating their pain medication for people that have chronic pain issues and all kinds of other severe ailments. And they wanted to be heard and get their point across. So we went down there and broadcast that so that they could be heard. You can check out that video also on our Facebook page here. Don't forget to like us and check down in the news feed below. All right, let's see what else we have. There are council meetings coming up. We have some on Wednesday. There is a council work session meeting. It's going to be at the Page City Hall Council Chambers. There's going to be discussion pertaining to the essential air service for the city of Page. If you guys don't remember, Great Lakes Airlines suddenly departed, and there has been kind of an emergency as they're trying to find another airline service to provide that for us. So there are several bids that have been put in by different air companies. We have Advanced Air, Boutique Air, Grand Canyon Airlines, and Mokulele Airlines have all put in bids to service Page per the Department of Transportation's mandated use for the airport. We're one of those communities that has to be serviced under one of their programs. So once again, that's Advanced Air, Boutique Air, Grand Canyon Airlines, and Mokulele Airlines. So the council will be talking about that at a special work session on Wednesday at 5:30. And then after that is the regular city council meeting. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, let me go ahead. We've got quite a few things going on in the regular city council meeting. There is going to be a proclamation. April 2018 is Fair Housing Month. The resignation of Robert Peterson from the Page Planning and Zoning Commission. This is a monthly cash allocation comparison report. They have unfinished business coming up. It's going to be discussion and possible action by the City Council pertaining to resolution number 1197-18. That's the lease for the Navajo Heritage Foundation. Their new business, there's going to be another proclamation recognizing National Telecommuter Week. Telecommunicator Week. Emergency Services Dispatch. There's going to be discussion and possible action by the City Council pertaining to resolution number 1198-18. Parking restrictions on North Navajo at the Vista Avenue and 11th Avenue intersections. The reappointment of assistant city magistrates to serve a 2-year term with the Page Magistrate Court. Scope of work for Horseshoe Bend improvements, Lake Powell Boulevard sidewalk project, and the essential air service for the City of Page. The EAS for the City of Page, as we just talked about, they're going to be working on that during their work session and then discussing it further in the City Council regular meeting. Let's see what else we have. There's going to be some discussion pertaining to a state legislative update. Then they are going to be going into several executive sessions. They are going into executive session for the purchase, sale, or lease of real property. There is the Page Gun Club. The airport terminal lease will also be discussed. And there are several parcels that are also falling into that executive session as well. There is also going to be business from the city attorney. There is an executive session. It is Cometco Site PRP Group versus A Square Systems Incorporated et al. And we are actually looking more into that for you to find out exactly what all that is about. That is actually quite an interesting subject that we're working on. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's see what else we have here. Let's go ahead and move on to our normal local events for tomorrow, the 10th. Tomorrow, the 10th, we have the online housing survey. Don't forget that housing survey is very important. If you want your voice to be heard, they are doing a study on all the housing in town and what they can do to improve it. If you have any kinds of opinion out there, or you want to help out with this kind of thing, make sure you take that online survey and get your voice heard. If you go to our calendar at lakepowellnews.com, you can find all of the links to get to that housing survey. Make sure you take it. It's very important for everyone to get their opinion in there. All right, let's see what else we have coming up. Tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., we have yoga at the community center. At 1 p.m. is bingo, and that is also at the community center. At 3 p.m. at the public library is STEAM with a theme of, we're just going to go with STEAM. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, Mathematics, and Mathematics. And the theme is Library Mini Golf. And at 5 p.m. at the community center, we have Pilates. At 5:30 p.m. is the book club at the Page Public Library. And at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow night is the Page Utility Enterprises board meeting at 640 Hall Road at the Page Utility Conference Room. All right, let's see what else we've got for you guys today. There are some special events that require registration, so we're going to go ahead and go through that really quick here. And then we'll move on to some other news. Local events that do require registration. Learning Computer is every Wednesday at the Page Public Library from 1 to 3. You have to register for that, so give them a call or stop on down there. There is a teen cooking class on April 18th from 3:30 to 4:30 at the community center. Their topic for that is going to be sugar-free dessert, but it does require pre-registration with the Page Public Library or the Page Community Center. So make sure you give them a holler or stop on down there. The Page Public Library has many activities this month that require pre-registration. Check them out on the community calendar. They are upcycling crafts, turning old stuff into new. Also, we have the 2018 Adult Softball League registration. That has started. So if you're interested in that, make sure you get a hold of them. There is also the 2018 Kids Summer Soccer Camp registration. That has also started. Let's see what else we have here. On Monday, April 23rd at 1:30 at the Community Center, the Knitting Club is meeting. This event does require pre-registration at the Community Center. And we are all hearing about the Page Attacks Trash event happening on Saturday, April 28th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. There is another Attack Trash event going on from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the John C. Page Memorial Park. The Library and Community Center's Page Attack Trash Upcycle event. Contact the Community Center or the library for further information on how to register and participate in this event. Remember, all events with the Page Community Center and Public Library are open to everyone, and they are free unless stated otherwise. Some events are age-specific, so contact the library or the Community Center for any age restrictions. Make sure you get out there and have fun. All right, what else do we have here for you today? Let's go ahead and move on to the weather, because that's been kind of an interesting thing going on recently. All right, we'll move on to the weather here. As you can see here, tonight it looks like the low is going to be 49. Tuesday, a high of 79 with a low of 58. Wednesday, the winds start picking up. We have a high of 86 and a low of 60. And then Thursday, the wind is going to be incredible out there. There's only a high of 68 degrees with a low of 39 as a huge front moves through. But as you can see, we're going to have sustained winds of almost 30 miles an hour, which brings us to our other issue we're going to have here. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up for you real quick. There we are. There is going to be fire weather watches in effect for northern Arizona Wednesday and Thursday. Make sure you properly discard cigarettes, keep vehicles off of dry grass, avoid activities with open flames or sparks, avoid power equipment that creates sparks, obey burn bans, and evacuate if fire or smoke is heading your way. Evacuate if ordered to do so by local officials. With those winds coming out, it is going to be quite nasty out there, and it is very dry, so be careful. This is a map of the affected areas. As you can see, here we are is Page. And the entire area is under a watch for high wind and a fire weather watch. So be careful out there. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Moving on to state news. Let's see here. Moving on to state news. Today, the Arizona Supreme Court released a brief decision order which stated the justices unanimously agreed that DACA recipients are not eligible for in-state tuition rates at any of the state colleges and universities. The original ruling from the Arizona Court of Appeals determined that federal and state laws do not allow for Maricopa community colleges to extend in-state tuition rates for DACA recipients. The full opinion will be available from the Arizona Supreme Court on May 14th, 2018. The order was released ahead of the opinion to allow the students, schools, and others affected by the decision to have as much time as possible to make appropriate adjustments and plans. The decision means that DACA recipients currently attending a community college or university in Arizona will have to begin paying out-of-state tuition rates, the difference being double or more in some instances, or what is currently being paid for tuition. It is estimated that approximately 2,000 current students will be affected by this decision. Karina Ruiz, the president of the Arizona DREAM Act Coalition, spoke with AZ Central and stated that the group will start raising money immediately to fund emergency scholarships for the next semester. Also in state news, from the office of the governor, from Governor Ducey, The most fundamental responsibility of government is to protect its citizens. This is an issue for all governors, but it has added meaning and complexity for border governors. For those living with the consequences of Washington's failures, border security isn't a political issue, it's a personal one. I have grieved with the widow of a rancher slain by an illegal immigrant, and with the family members of Agent Brian Terry, who was gunned down by cartel members 10 miles north of the Arizona-Mexico border. I've spent time with parents whose children's lives were ruined by the drugs smuggled across our border. The majority of illegal drugs in this country come through our southern border. If you know someone impacted by drug addiction, there's a good chance that their last hit came from drugs that flow through Arizona. For years, Americans, particularly in border states such as Arizona, have been calling on the federal government to secure our border. It is frustrating to hear the rhetoric from the talking heads on cable news on this issue. Despite what some may say, our southern border is not secure. That is the truth, plain and simple. That is why I am grateful for this administration's actions to address border security. The announcement by President Trump to call up the National Guard to support the mission of the Border Patrol is needed and welcomed. Unfortunately, there are those who like to play politics with the issue. Those of us on the border don't have that luxury. Instead, while the politicos and pundits are busy shouting at each other, we are addressing the challenges of managing a state on the border. We're working to save lives threatened by the hands of cartel members or by drug addiction, and the lives of those trying to cross Arizona's unforgiving desert landscape. States such as Arizona have stepped up when Washington has failed and spent tens of millions of our state's taxpayers' dollars to supplement the great work of an understaffed Customs and Border Protection. But with a border nearly 373 miles, longer than the entire length of Pennsylvania, we can't do this on our own. That was, once again, from the office of the governor. Moving on to some national news here. Americans faced the highest pump prices in year for gasoline. This is from the Wall Street Journal. I'm just going to go ahead and read a little bit for you here on what exactly is going on. Americans are spending more at the pump than they have in years. Prices could rise even higher just as drivers hit the road for family vacations. This summer, in terms of average gas prices, will likely be the highest since 2014, said Patrick Dehan, petroleum analyst at GasBuddy, a fuel tracking app. There's been very little question about that. Crude prices have jumped thanks to the continuing production cuts by major exporters. As a result, gasoline is also becoming more expensive. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, average regular retail gas prices reached $2.70 a gallon last week, the highest level since 2015. While higher fuel prices could herald an end to the glut that has plagued the energy market since 2014, they also threaten to dampen demand and hit consumers in their pocketbooks. Since the organizations of the petroleum exporting countries, or OPEC as it's better known, and other major oil producers, including Russia, agreed to collectively limit output 2 years ago, U.S. oil futures have risen about 40%, closing at $62.06 a barrel on Friday. Gasoline futures are up 8.6% this year. What we're seeing now at the pump is reflective of OPEC's decision in 2016 to cut back on oil production, said Mr. Dehan. So keep an eye out for those rising gas prices out there. Moving on to some international news that you may find interesting. London's mayor has declared an intense new knife control policy to stop an epidemic of stabbings. An epidemic of stabbings and acid attacks in London has gotten so bad that London Mayor Sadiq Khan is announcing broad new knife control policies designed to keep these weapons of war out of the hands of Londoners looking to cause others harm. The tough, immediate measures involve an incredible police crackdown, a ban on home deliveries of knives and acid, and expanding law enforcement's stop and search powers so that police may stop anyone they believe to be a threat or planning a knife or acid attack. Khan announced Friday that the city has created a violent crime task force of 120 officers tasked with rooting out knife-wielding individuals in public spaces, and is pumping nearly $50 million into the Metropolitan Police Department so that they can better arm themselves against knife attacks. He's also empowering the Metro Police Force to introduce targeted patrols with extra stop and search powers for areas worst affected, according to a statement from him. In a Twitter release, the Mayor of London said, "No excuses. There is never a reason to carry a knife. Anyone who does will be caught, and they will feel the full force of the law." Once again, that is from the Mayor of London. All right. That is all we have for you tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. This episode was brought to you by H&R Block of Page, Arizona, here at 608 Elm Street. Don't forget to support local businesses that support us. It helps us get you the news in real time. We will catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget, if this helped you out or you think it'll help anyone else out, don't forget to comment, like, and share every single one of these posts. It helps us help you. After all, if not you, then who? Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.